Friends, do you know what you review after a bunch of Mario figures? A Zelda figure, obviously. So there's not too much to say about Link's packaging. I guess we'll just take a look at it before we open him up and look at the actual figure. On the back it says he's got 14 points articulation. We'll count them. It's probably correct. Jakks is usually correct. Other figures in the line, Builder Mario I just took a look at is pretty cool. And Luigi, that's a really old figure, but I guess they're just re-releasing the most popular characters now. It says Series 2-6, but now World of Nintendo doesn't even exist because, you know, now it's just like the Super Mario line. Down here, it's got the right game, Zelda Breath of the Wild, in gold too. And I appreciate how they're getting like the correct artwork up in the corners for the Zelda characters. I mean, they were kind of not doing that when I reviewed like Sheik and like Toon Link, I think. It's a little confusing. They were trying to get like a generic Zelda thing going. And something else Jakks has changed over the years. You can just see the accessories now. They don't have the mystery box accessories, so I don't know why the bubble has the little square cutout for a box anymore. But anyways, let's just open this guy up and look at those accessories and Link himself in person. So it looks like Link does have one twist tie here around his waist. And, oh, one around his each wrist, two in each leg? Both legs. 4 little sock tie, twist tie type things. They're a pain. Well, actually, that wasn't so hard. Let me see if I can get this one. Well, that wasn't too bad. I mean, the one around the legs was like super easy to just pull out of the little hole there, and I didn't really break any of the wrist. I just pulled the figure on out. But now that he's out, let's take a look at Link's actual sculpt. The Link here is obviously based on his Breath of the Wild design. If you haven't played Breath of the Wild, go out and do so, friends, because it's an amazing game. And when it comes to the sculpt, Jakks mostly got it right. Like, you can tell they're trying, but there are definitely a few issues. First of all, Link's face. It's kind of like a fat-looking face. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Link's face didn't look quite that wide in the game. And then secondly, there's this big peg on his butt there, and you know, it serves a purpose that we'll talk about when we get to accessories, but it's obviously kind of distracting in terms of sculpt. And then also distracting is his little waist area here. Like, he has this joint in his mid-torso, and I feel like the transition from his upper torso to his lower torso, it looks kind of weird. Like, his hips are super wide, right? When you look at him like that. And then another problem is his left arm has this orange stuff, and all that is sculpted, which is very nice. But the problem with it is his right arm doesn't have all that sculpted detail, and if we start talking about the paint, it doesn't have all that orange detail either. So that's a big problem, because Link is supposed to have that on both of his sleeves, and then the gauntlet obviously like covers the top half of that on his right sleeve, so I guess Jakks was like, oh, well, you know, we don't have to do that part, but like, it is noticeable that you missed that detail. But other details you got right are the little white design on his shirt here, and even those tiny little triangles in there, you really got that good. In his face, the paint looks pretty good. The eyes are clean. I mean, they're decals, but looks pretty clean. And then the belts, they're kind of off the sculpted lines. Like, you can really tell down here, like where the silver goes up onto this blue back here, and like it's way off the sculpted line. And then the little legs are fine. I mean, the face and the legs are pretty fine. The arms have the problem with the right arm not having any of that orange paint design. And, you know, another problem I have with the paint is it looks like it's kind of glowing on this arm when that's not how it is. Like, it's just fabric. Link's arm don't glow orange or anything. He has a Sheikah slate here, and it's all these details are sculpted, so that's very nice. The Sheikah eye in it is a raised sculpted detail, and the paint on it looks good. But a problem with the paint is on the white design here, it doesn't continue around the collar on the back, which it is supposed to. I mean, it continues around on the butt accurately and around all the way on the sleeves. It goes pretty much 360, so that is good. But I mean, another problem on the sleeves is right here on the side. Like, they just have the little triangles when, you know, at one point in the middle, it's supposed to get like this diamond thing. So they missed a detail here and there. And then like his little ponytail band back there, they just painted that on. Probably should be sculpted, separate piece or something. And then over here, it's kind of sloppy on this side. But I mean, for the most part, the paint's all right. It definitely has its issues, just like the sculpt. Articulation, however, is overall pretty impressive. I mean, first up, his head is on a ball joint, and it does get some side-to-side movement there, but unfortunately, up and down, like, that is it. And it can go around, but his ponytail kind of gets in the way, although you can bend it, and he can keep going all the way around if you so choose. His shoulders are on hinge and swivel. They go up above 90, so that's good, and they can go all the way around. And then his elbows are on these sort of double swivels around this ball, so they can swivel at the top part of the ball and the bottom part of the ball. And his elbow doesn't quite get to 90, but it's decent and it swivels around. It's not like a Marvel Legends one. His hand is on a hinge and swivel, just a normal hinge and swivel, not the double ball swivel thing. And then he has this diaphragm joint, lets him twist all the way around. He doesn't really get too much side to side, but he can go back a little bit and not really forward, unfortunately. Now the hips. The hips are on, as far as I can tell, just like swivels, because, I mean, like, they go forward and back, and it's kind of hard to see up there, and, like, the skirt has a cut, thankfully, to let them move, but they don't go out at all, really. Oh, wait, yes, they do. Okay, never mind. I just wish they swiveled. Like, a thigh swivel would help this guy out so much. I guess they are on hinge and swivels, though, not ball joints, and they could really use a cut at some point. Thankfully, the boots have a cut, and they have a hinge up there, and then the ankles are on the double ball swivel thing, just like the elbows. So if we're counting, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the legs, 7 right there, 8 there at the head, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points of articulation, just like the packaging said. And, I mean, it's not perfect. They could really use a thigh cut at some point, and I don't really like how the diaphragm joint breaks up the sculpt, and the head could look up and down better, but it is overall impressive how many points of articulation that Jakks Pacific crammed into this little 4-inch guy. And now for the accessories. Link comes with a bow, an arrow, and a quiver full of arrows. So now what you do with that quiver is you take it and you just slap it on, because it's got a hole on it. You slap it on a big peg on his butt, and Link is totally right-handed in Breath of the Wild for whatever reason, so the arrows are supposed to face to the right, towards his right hand, but, you know, you can just put it whichever way you want if you want to go back to left-handed Link. And if we take a look at the quiver, Jakks really went all out on this. Like, there's a lot of intricate paint details, and, you know, I'm not sure how 100% accurate this is to the game, because it's kind of hard to see back there, and a lot of the official concept art, you can't see the whole design on the quiver, but this thing definitely looks colorful, and I don't know what they missed, so I love this thing. This is pretty perfect. Now, moving on to the bow, this is actually the Traveler's bow, and looks pretty spot on. I mean, I don't think it had red string in the game, but I mean, it was probably more like a dull orangey red brownish, but it did have this blue up here and the red little guard and all the concept art and stuff. And this is the same bow he uses in Super Smash Bros. And yeah, the string's not red. Now, what Jakks has done with this is a little bit clever. Instead of giving us an elastic string, they've given us a normal string and elastic plastic, I guess. And I mean, hey, that's kind of how bows work in real life, so more power to them. And last up, Link, of course, has this ancient arrow, which is the one you use to kill the Guardians. Now, these aren't arrows he usually shoots in Smash Bros., but they are the ones in his final Smash, so, you know, I think Jakks is really kind of giving us the Smash Bros. Link. It's kind of odd he doesn't come with a sword, honestly, but, you know, I'm happy with it. I can live with it. Now, this arrow here, this blue part should be glowing, and I guess they couldn't really pull off that kind of effect, like and use transparent plastic or anything. But they chose a nice shade of blue. It looks good, and they got the blue, no, not the blue, the orange details down here, the glowy bits, and there should be like a couple more here, and you can see they kind of have the design sculpted for where they should glow a bit more, but it's fine. They mostly got it. The colors are pretty spot on. They even got the little gray there, and like, yeah, a lot of painted detail on this arrow that you don't usually see from accessories. And one nice thing, this little spot is for it to hook around the string, sort of. And you can pull it back, and it's pretty tricky to get Link's hand on there, but it can be done. You just gotta kind of shove that flat part with the hook in between his thumb and his forefinger, and you can kind of do it. It'll certainly take some practice though, friends, so give me a minute, and we'll see how much better than this I can do. As you can see, friends, you can definitely get him holding that bow and arrow with the string drawn and everything, and Link looks pretty good doing it too, I think. Just like that first concept art of Breath of the Wild that they ever released back before anyone even knew the name of the game. So I'm pretty happy with the accessories overall. I mean, we got 3 cool things: the bow, the arrow, the quiver. I mean, we usually only got like one thing, you know, so I mean, all the Mario figures only ever came with 1 accessory. So we got 2 more than usual here, and they're all so nicely painted. And they work pretty well. Link can actually hold them and use them. And funny thing, if you just pull his hand further back, He can pretty much shoot that arrow too. How crazy is that? I mean, not intended to, but I mean, pretty cool accessories overall, Jakks. Taking a look at the scale now, Link stands at exactly 4.5 inches tall, exactly like the back of the packaging said. As always, here he is next to a 6-inch Batman and Spider-Man. And here he is with a Jakks-specific Mario, who he's obviously not in proper scale with, because Link should be much, much taller than Mario. And now here he is with an Ocarina of Time Dark Link, Skyward Sword Link, and Wind Waker Link, also from Jakks Pacific's World of Nintendo line. And yeah, he definitely fits in much better with Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time, and, you know, not so much Wind Waker, I think. Last up, here he is with the Figma Skyward Sword Link, and yeah, the scale doesn't work either. I mean, the World of Nintendo links, they pretty much only fit in scale with each other, pretty much. Ultimately, friends, the Breath of the Wild Link has really good accessories, so-so paint, and then Sculpt is probably his weakest aspect, though that's not to say it's bad. I do definitely recommend him if you've been collecting Jakks World of Nintendo links so far, but other than that, I mean, I'd pass him up because he doesn't really fit in with any other collections. But he is a nice Breath of the Wild Link to have. Well, until next time, peace out, YouTube.